Hello, everyone. In this episode, we have another young Indian, smiling face as usual. Right now, we have with us Manya Jain. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Manya.
Thank you so much, sir, for this great opportunity. So, before we commence, I would like to give a short introduction about myself. I'm a first year student pursuing Eco Honors from Daulat Ram College, University of Delhi. I was born and raised up in Delhi. I'm fortunate that I come from a family of scholars who have always inspired my academics pursuit. So, throughout my school years, I have constantly excelled in my studies, serving both as a prefect and a house captain. And beyond academics, I had the privilege to work as the brand ambassador and as the girl advisory board leader for the Go Hardly Lead Like a Girl organization, a California-based organization which empowers young girls worldwide. And my creative side finds expression in singing, dancing, and painting. So I'm a proud to be a Bhushan 3 grade graduate in Bharatnatyam. Like any curious young student, my career dreams evolved over many years. So in fourth grade, I was like, I want to become a doctor. And it evolved in 10th grade when I was like, I want to become an IAS officer now. But when I pursued commerce in 11th grade, I find my passion in economics. And I was like, now this is my stream and this is what I want to pursue in my future. Though occasionally I find mathematics a little bit challenging, but it motivates me to constantly be on the track, knowing that through perseverance I will find success and growth. And recently, during my mid-semester break, I watched a thought-provoking movie named Dopati, which was quite a bit famous on Netflix, and it depicted a story about two twin girls, one of whom faced domestic violence in her marriage. The film was brutally awakening that in this 21st century, when we have high rise building, it is the era of AI and bullet trains, the women are still facing um, such brutal misogynist and these thoughts. Inspired by this revelation and my mentor's guide that we economists are the future policymakers, I thought that I should dug deep into this topic and I should do a little bit more research on it. So, sir, I would request for your permission to so that I can showcase my PowerPoint presentation, which consists of my research.
Let me put you on pause so we can test your PowerPoint. And once we are ready, we will come back. Okay?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Manya is now ready to show her PowerPoint. Let's go.
So this is my presentation. So first of all, to dig deeper into the research, I decided to deep more into the topic and interviewed the family and friends around me. So on the top left, right, it's my neighbor, who is being pressurized to conceive one more baby because her family wants a boy. In the middle is my domestic maid, and at the top right is my cook. So all of them face the same issue of domestic violence. Earlier, I thought that domestic violence is prevalent but not as much in the society, but after watching the movie and after interviewing these people, I got to know that domestic violence is a huge malediction in a society which has not yet been removed. So then I decided to consult more of my family members and more like the persons around me, like my friends and my professors who are in this educational field, and then I asked them to fill this questionnaire. So I received many thought-provoking responses from them that though we are saying that girls and boys, they are both are equal and both go hand in hand together in the society, but still a larger part of the section is facing domestic violence in some way or the other. One of the three women in our world is still facing domestic violence in this 21st century. So yeah, these are the responses which I got from them, and these are the Bollywood movies which have been constantly evolving through the years. And as we say that Bollywood movies highlight is are the mirror of the society, so these movies are being shown so that they can raise the issue of domestic violence. And these are the newspaper articles. I found tons of newspaper articles, and then I had to be concrete in my presentation, so I picked a few of them. And these are latest of around 2022 and 21, when domestic violence was on its peak due to the lockdown because of the COVID. So these are the solutions which I propose. According to me, in my opinion, education and strict laws are the key to eradicate or maybe lower domestic violence in our society. And so education will boost the morale of the women, because in our times, the most women who face domestic violence are not independent enough so that they could leave their spouse and work independently and earn for their living. So one of the most key reason which I found is that they were not independent enough so that they could earn their living and they can live independently and they can live independently. And another was awareness sessions and workshops. Though we find our schools and colleges all over the world filled with details about education, filled with details about our careers, about the courses which we are pursuing, but there is still a very little bit of knowledge about domestic violence and the other taboos which are socially prevalent in a society. We hesitate to talk about them, and then it is a situation which should be prevalent and which should be taught in schools and colleges to both females and males. And the third is advertising media. So my inspiration was a movie which I watched on Netflix. So advertisement media, songs, and the Bollywood and the Hollywood, Bollywood, they inspire people a lot. They encourage people to take action. So that's why it can be a very important medium in which we can educate the society. So this is my report, which summarizes my research. Foremostly, the National Crime Records NRCB Bureau 2019 reports that a majority, 30.9% of all the cases which report against crime against women are regulated under Section 498A of the Indian Penal Code, which says cruelty by husband or his relatives. So a major chunk of the criminal cases which we receive are because of domestic violence. And even we can say that the uneducated people or the educated people or the middle class ones or the lower class ones are the one facing domestic violence, but it's not true, because during my research I found out even Bollywood celebrities whom we regard as our mentors, like Karishma Kapoor, Pooja Bhatt, Shweta Tiwari, Rani Agnotri, they have also been the victims of the societal evil done by their partner's husband or their relatives.
Okay, thank you. If you are done with this, then we can get out of the screen share and we can go back
Sir,
to
there were three more slides. I think it's got stuck there.
Okay,
So I'm
if
sorry
you
for
have
the
more slides, let's
inconvenience.
see them. Let me put you on pause till you sort it out. Okay, we figured out.
So during my
So go ahead, Mania.
So thank you, sir. During my research, I also find out that domestic violence affects females the most. It shatters them. It has serious consequences on both their physical and mental health. It's a burden on the society and the nation, and maybe it's the cause which is stopping the world from developing to its potential. And then I found that sometimes, or maybe larger times, women health is taken for granted, specifically in rural areas, where they say that the man is a living hand in our family, so he should be treated very well in comparison to females. And often girls suffer from physical and mental torture when they refuse to marry and want to live their life on their own. And so, in my opinion, I would like to make both genders understand the importance of being patient and create mutual understanding and respect for each other. The world would be a better place to live in, and would be a better a place with less health related issues. And as I mentioned before, domestic violence has been around as long as gender has. It exists in every society, in every part of the world, in every economy, whether it's developed nations like US and UK, or underdeveloped countries like Somalia, Ghana, or developing nations like India. And I think domestic violence should be controlled, as 1 out of 3 women around the world experience domestic violence or some abuse from a partner in some other form. And then I was thinking about a thing that many a times I have heard in my society, that a female after marriage has to shift to some other place or has to transfer to some other place, leaving her family, leaving her in-laws because of the transfer of her husband. But what if we find cases where a man is transferring because of a wife's transfer? So yeah, I think that was all which was from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for making this effort. I'm sure You have prepared this report, etc., for other reasons, but thank you for sharing it. It's a very important point. Let's go back to full screen out of the presentation. Yeah, so if you can close your screen, we can go back. Let me pause you while you do that. So, Manya, thank you so much. You are now a little too low in the screen, so please raise up a little bit. Right, good, all right. Well, thank you so much for this. It's really an important point. I think you have highlighted it very clearly. It's very hard to solve, as you know, that it has been around not just for last few years, but for a long time. And it is, and you can see it in every part of society, not just in one or the other. So it's a national disgrace, actually, hard to solve, but let's continue. Let's go ahead with your talk.
So, sir, I was just wondering, being a part of Go Ladli, being as an ambassador of Go Ladli, I found that domestic violence is not just prevalent in many short nations or many short countries, it is prevalent worldwide. So in my opinion, we should form or some policies worldwide which can eradicate this issue altogether, or we can try to do so, because though Rome was not built in a day, it took years to build Rome. So that's how we can take a first step and then we can proceed towards it. And there have been several mentors in my life, like the CEO of Goladli Foundation, Mrs. Hira ma'am, and she had provided me with a very mentorship in which I was able to solve a few of them, and then I joined voluntary as a um, volunteer. I did an internship as a volunteer in Hamari Pehchan NGO, in which I saw many such issues, not just domestic violence but poverty, and actually hunger. I saw people sleeping on streets without any food for them. So that awakened a thought in me that though I am studying economics, my partners are studying economics, so why not we can find a policy, though it sounds easier than done, that we would eradicate poverty and domestic violence altogether, but someone has to take a step. We can't blame on government that government is a miraculous power that can do all the such things. So we have to take a step and we should raise awareness so that this societal level can be abolished.
Yeah, Anya, you have just validated my reason for floating this chat. The reason was that young people in India are very good, but they don't get a chance to speak. You just proved it, that you are very good. You have put together a lot of ideas and have a lot of social changes in mind. And I think this is the way forward. When young people, uh, come forward with their own ideas and their own enthusiasm and their own spirit, I think that's how social change will come. It will not come from the top. It will not come from the top because the people at the top are now too busy, too tired, too stuck in their ways. They cannot do it. So I'm really glad that you are not, you are young and you have ideas, you have enthusiasm, you have energy. You will find like-minded people thanks to the new technologies. You've already found some. You work for an NGO, at a couple of NGOs. You will find some other like-minded people, and you will take it forward. And you will bring about change. I'm confident, because in the end, these are not difficult. They are difficult issues, but India is changing. India is modernizing, and I think you will be able to succeed. So that's very good to hear from you. But let's turn to some other parts of your life. Like you said, you are in arts and so on. So let's hear about that also.
Sir, since the beginning, I have been quite fond of reading novels, mostly fictional, and I have been a keen singer also. So in third grade, I was awarded the best singer award by my school. Uh, because I am very fond of singing. I like every kind of songs, be it classical, be it Bollywood songs, or be it English songs. I love every part of them. And then my mother was like, "You should learn some kind of dance too." And I was eager to learn dance, and that's why she enrolled me in Bharatnatyam. And I am a proud Bharatnatyam dancer with Bhushan 3 diploma in Bharatnatyam. And I have performed quite a lot of times in my school. And so may I show some videos or some pics of mine?
Yes, so let me put you on pause and we go back to screen share. All right. So we are back from the pause. She has set it up. Manya, please tell us what we are seeing.
So these are some glimpses from my dance performance during my school days. I was so eager and I asked my class teacher, Mom, can I perform in the assembly? Because I am very enthusiastic about performing and showcasing my Bharatanatyam dance to the whole school. And she was like, of course, why not? So she gave me the opportunity 2, 3 times and that's how I performed. So this is me performing Bharatanatyam in front of my whole school. This is myself on the stage. This is of another time when I performed again in my school. So this is new dress up, new hairstyle and everything new. So these are my photos which I have from my school days, which I cherish a lot.
Okay, can we take us out of the shared screen? Okay, so how long is each dance? Your performance, how long does it run?
So it run for about 3 minutes or so because a particular item in Bharatanatyam it consists of mostly 2 to 3 minutes. So for that's how I performed. I asked my mom that I want to perform in my school. So what's the best song in which I could perform on? And she gave many ideas out of which I picked and then I performed in my school.
Okay, wonderful. This is really very encouraging to see that not only you are a good dancer, but you're not afraid to do it in front of others. That's really very important, I think, to have the guts and the confidence in yourself. So excellent. What else?
Sir, I have performed in my school. I have sang in my. There's a winter carnival in my school in which mostly other schools are invited. We can take our friends, our family members to there. It's like a fete, and so that's where I sang for the first time in my life in front of the whole audience. I sang during competitions and live events during my school days, but that's when I sang for the first time. It was in my 8th grade, and I have a quite a fond memory of that time. Everyone was performing for the winter carnival. Some people were dancing, some people were singing, and I was like, I want to do something too. And so the idea came into my mind that I want to sing in front of the whole people, in front of the whole crowd. So I asked my sir, can I sing? So he was like, of course, why not? Do you want to go for solo or do you want to sing in doubles? And I was like, since it's my first time, I was quite a little bit hesitant to sing solo. So that's why I asked a friend of mine who was very close to me that would you like to sing with me in the winter carnival? And yes, she was eager, and then we sang a Bollywood song during winter carnival. And the principal sir, he was on the stage attending to guests, and then he was watching the performances of the students of his school. So he praised me that I sing quite well. So yeah,
Wonderful.
that's quite a so that's
And
quite a fond
what
memory of
song
mine.
was it?
Sir, it was Tumse Hi.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Let's continue with your other accomplishments or your other points of view. Let's go ahead.
Sir, recently, our school, DRC, Daulatram College, it organized a DRC M1 in which I got to know many people around my college and around many colleges. So the topic was achieving carbon neutrality by 2050, and I was a delegate of Sweden in that DRC M1. So I had prepared my speech. It was going well. It was my first M1 for that matter, and though I was excited, I was a little bit nervous about the rules and the formal diplomacy and all. And the EB was quite great. It introduced the rules and regulations because most of the students were first timers, and then the debate began. So because it was a 1 day event, we didn't get to talk a lot. Uh, we didn't get to debate a lot more, but yeah, it was fine. And then I presented my views about Sweden and how it is accomplishing carbon neutrality by 2050. I got many chits as POIs. I replied many of them, and it was fun. So there was a person, the USA delegate. He was a very experienced one in MUN, and he was exceptional in speaking. So he gained the Best Delegate award there, and it was very fun to, and it was very fun and enriching experience for me. So that I could get to know many people. I could learn diplomacy in that particular event, and it awakened my desires to participate more actively in such debates in the future.
Wonderful. So it's so many things you have accomplished and you're already in first year. That's quite remarkable. All right. Anything else you want to tell us?
So recently, I was going through your experiences in the World Bank as a policy consultant. I got to know that you spend a lot of time in Ghana. So, sir, was there any such experience which you gained or which you encountered that forced you to think that this thing could be implemented in India as well?
Well, India is quite ahead of most countries in Africa, with the exception of South Africa. So I don't think that there's much to learn for India from Africa. And in most parameters, we are ahead of most countries in Africa. So I think this is really not useful to think about what we can learn so much from economic development in Africa. Rather, we can teach quite a bit from India to those countries. So I think that's how I've spent quite a bit of time in many African countries, including going to the rural areas and all. They're quite different from India. So it's really not easy to think of how to connect the two in terms of economic development. There's, no country is as large as India now, which makes it unique by itself. India and China are unique by themselves, and there's very little to bring from other countries to India. Yes, we can bring some, but it's very hard to think of what we can bring from Africa. Rather, it's better, I think, to think what we can take from Asia to Africa. Okay. So I think that's my answer there. Anything else?
Sir, is there any tip or any piece of advice which you would like to give to the budding economics like me, so that how can we go on with our life or with our career? Because you are so experienced and with such a vast knowledge.
I can't give you any advice. I will say you are already far ahead of what you would expect from a first year BA student. Okay, I think you're doing very well. It's just keep doing what you are doing, and you've got art, you've got passion, you've got culture, our own culture, you've got model UN, the world's knowledge. And this is today's young India. You're the face of young India today. You're Indian, but you are international, right? You have no hesitation.
Thank you so much, sir.
Of being global. And many people don't realize that today's young, and that's why this channel, people don't realize that, look, it's not that everybody is wasting time on Instagram and TikTok. There are people, but there are enough who are not. And why don't we give them a chance to speak, a chance to get their own views across and connect with other young people? I hope other young people see this Whitped and they connect with you on some of the things that you brought about: carbon neutrality, women's rights, and so on. So I think there's no advice from me at all. I mean, at your age, we did nothing, honestly, because we had no.
Sir, it won't be nothing. Please don't mind me, but you have reached World Bank, so
see,
it won't be nothing.
You don't know, at your age, we had no opportunities. So we just had a good time. But anyway, let me ask you have any tips for people in 11th and 12th?
So the main tips I would like to give, that focus on your education, because 11th 12th makes the base for college, and if you divert from 11 during 11th 12th studies, you won't be able, you will achieve. I have many friends who were enjoying their lives in 11th 12th, going to play games, going to work parties, and then they are doing well in their backgrounds now. But still, if you want to achieve something in future, you should work hard in 11th and 12th, because it's the base. Earlier, my parents also used to say to me, beta 11th 12th पढ़ लो, then it would be all fine. You will go to college and then you will enjoy a lot. And then I used to think my whole life would be spent in studying and all, and 11 12 doesn't matter much. But still I studied a lot due to my parents' guidance. And so I just would like to recommend them that you should study hard. You should make your parents and your family proud. You should do, and also not only studying, involved in many other activities like debating. You should pursue any of your hobbies which you want. If someone is interested in sports, he or she should pursue sports. You can take up many extracurricular activities according to your hobbies, because they help a lot in the overall personality development of a child. And so that's a very important thing that they should follow.
Okay. And can you tell them what college is like? How's college for you? I mean, what's the change from school to college for you?
Sir, I have been quite a fond of watching movies, especially Bollywood, in my school days, and I used to watch Student of the Year and such movies in which they used to show very fascinating colleges in which people used to enter in BMW or Mercedes sports car, and there would be fun, parties, games, and everything else except studying. But now, since I am in my college life right now, it's not as if I go only to study there. I meet many new friends. I meet a very large amount of people who have different viewpoints. I like to listen to them. I like to share my own views. But yeah, it's different from what the movies are portraying, and it's not at all boring. But yeah, it's quite fun, but very far apart from the reality which the movies are being portraying.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add here?
Sir, since it's my first year, I have not done any internships or as such, and the research papers are also on my way. I am an assistant editor in my economic society in my college, the ECLE, and so I am publishing and I am editing many articles regarding diamonds and Trump elections and everything. So it's been going well, and I think I should work more upon research articles. But it's my first year, so I thought that I should go on pace with my studies for now, and then I can gradually write them and all. So yeah, it's going fine.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much, Manya. It's such a pleasure to listen to you and to listen to young people overall. Let's end it here today. I will be back with another young person or an expert soon. Till then, bye everybody.